Today I'm joined here with Alexa Bishops from Calybre. She's the CEO there. She's extremely talented in IT and data analytics. We'll get into that in a moment. And I am Nadine Swart from Yellow Seed. I head up the talent acquisition department here with Yellow Seed, and with that is then the assessments. So today we're actually going to talk about one of my favorite assessment products here at Yellow Seed, which is AssessFirst. So Alexa, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So Alexa, maybe over to you. In terms of Calybre, tell us a bit more about Calybre.
Thanks, Nadine. So we're actually quite a new business. We started in September of 2022.
Sure, yeah, last year.
Yeah, 6 months ago. And our purpose is to build great data skills for the world. So essentially we've set out to build an awesome team of people in this scarce skills space. It really is known as a scarce skills space. We're a global company, so our headquarters is actually in the UK with an operating entity here in South Africa. And we're highly ambitious to actually build a very large global team of up to, well, over 100 people in the next year.
Wow, yeah, and that's quite a lot of growth, right?
That's a huge growth.
So I can imagine, given the growth that's happening and all the recruitment that's going on, what's then the assessment need?
Yeah, so in past businesses, we'd use psychometrics and we'd seen the benefits of using psychometrics. But I think there was always a situation where we weren't entirely sure that we trusted the outcome. So very often we would find ourselves second guessing whatever the result was in the psychometric test, sometimes to our detriment, but very often that we were able to understand the person still. So we knew the benefit that we would get from having psychometrics. In this business, with the growth at scale, we also knew that we needed to very quickly be able to assess a large number of candidates. And I think one of the most interesting things that has happened is we're actually a 100% remote business. So all of our interviews are done online. And it's actually completely different to the days of, sitting around the table like you and I are today. Sitting around the table with somebody and being able to see them and really feel that you can get to know them. When you interview remotely, there is something that is different. I don't know if it's that there's something missing, but I think in trusting that we're making the right decision, we felt that we needed tools that would help us to get to the point of making that decision and making it quickly enough, which is why we knew we had to have psychometrics in place.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important point that you're raising there, because after COVID, I think you have, well, you can tell me if that's a privilege or not, to have started the company remotely completely, whereas a lot of companies weren't remote and had to go over into being remote companies, and now they don't know, do we do our interviews online? How does this recruitment process plan out? So I think psychometric assessments is such a valuable tool to add in conjunction with interviews. I think both sides are still very important, right? Exactly. It's not just either or. I think in conjunction with, that's where we see the power.
Definitely.
So Alexa, in terms of the assessment need in particular, was there something that you were looking for? I know it was large scale, but is there anything else in terms of, you said that you have looked at assessments a bit, but yes, just in terms of the need behind the psychometric assessments that you were looking for? Yeah,
so on the one hand, aptitude. So we needed to understand that the people we were hiring would be able to do the type of work. And also in our space, a lot of the people we're bringing on haven't necessarily done this work before. So we needed to make sure they would be able to learn what it is that we are teaching them. But what is really critical to us, and right from the beginning, so we are a values-based company, so our culture is incredibly important, probably even more so with the fact that we're remote. We know that we need to focus on it really intensely. And so we wanted a test that would give us that insight into whether a person would add to our culture. We obviously don't, you don't want everybody to be the same, so it's not about getting an exact match on the personality. You want the diversity to come through, but not to be contrary to our culture requirements. So again, looking at people that are going to grow, we want people to be able to start in one place and grow into something that is more senior, or we'd be asking a lot of them in that role. So they must have the capability to do that. And then also, again, that they are motivated to become data professionals, that is really what they want to do. Part of our thinking as well is that we want our people to become famous. So they should each want to be well known in the industry. And that is one of the things that we test for in our psychometrics. So I think being able to do that is really an enabler in our business.
And again, I think you're touching on such an important point in terms of the psychometric battery, because I think a lot of companies feel that they only need to use one, and that's going to give us a nice view of a candidate. But with the AssessFirst assessments, and I think that's why you can also tell me in a bit, but why I really prefer using it is because it has all three of those components. So we're looking at personality, we're looking at motivation, and then we're looking at the ability. Does the person, are they able to do the work that they're being appointed to do? So maybe over to you, Alexa, why did you then decide to go with AssessFirst?
So first of all, it was the look and feel. I think when we first saw the reports that AssessFirst would give, and I'm going to compare it to what we were used to, which was a very wordy kind of report that you couldn't at a glance see whether a candidate was suitable. And we were looking at processing a large number of candidates. And I think what is so amazing about it is in the blink of an eye, and I literally do this, the first glance at the recruiting report, I can very quickly see, just based on the colours, whether somebody is going to be interesting to actually look at in more detail. Not that I'm saying that you should disregard all of the information, not at all, but I think that just the way it's broken down, the natural language that is used in the reports is really helpful. It's easy to read. The more you use them, the quicker you get at interpreting them. I think that is also really great. And I love the fact that it splits out then the aptitude from the shape, from the motivation. And what we've learned already in using the reports, and it's been a fairly short time, has been incredible and is a huge enabler. We're actually already looking then at how you map that back. What type of person is it that we're looking for? And I think maybe, Nadine, one of the other things that was really important was the need to be able to match the psychometrics to a role.
Yes.
So the fact that they have those roles set up and that we could then take that and morph that into something that was specific to our business, that was incredibly important, because again, that gives you that speed of assessment. You're not going from a base of nothing every time you get the report back.
Yes. And I think I've had a lot of clients sit in front of me and they're actually not a part of that psychometric assessment process. So I think AssessFirst, also with the predictive models that you're talking about, really enables someone to be a part of that process. So yes, we're still doing the assessments on our end from Yellow Seed side, but we include line managers, the people that's actually going to work with these individuals. They know what culture fit they're looking for, what drive this individual needs to have. So that's what I also really enjoy, is the fact that you can bring that together and it's all talking to one another.
Definitely.
Another point that I would like to just touch on, given the Calybre history and what you all stand for, is the technology that AssessFirst uses. So definitely very futuristic in terms of AI technology driven. They also are very innovative in the ways in which they develop their assessments. I'm not even sure if you're aware of this, but maybe I'm giving this away now. They have a very exciting project that they're running with. So the personality assessment, they are busy looking at it, and they're actually going to make it like a picture type assessment. So you're going to have to swipe to a picture that speaks to you most. And I was just thinking, from a future point of view, from a data-driven point of view, AI technology-driven, how cool is that? And that's what I also appreciate from AssessFirst, is it's never stagnant. They constantly improving, constantly looking at ways of improving. So I don't know if you picked that up on your end as well.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, we'd be brilliantly excited about those kind of additions. And I think that again, it's being able to embed a tool in your business that becomes, it's like your right hand. You can trust it, you know that it's there, you know that it's helping you, and then the fact that we can then grow with it, I think that is a huge opportunity for us.
Yes. You actually touched on something now. You said the fact that a company should grow with the assessments. And I think that's so important, why a lot of people use psychometric assessments, but then it's kind of like a once-off thing. It doesn't grow from there. So we do it for recruitment, but then we do something else for development, something else for culture. Whereas with AssessFirst, it's creating that platform so that you can keep the data and use it for all of those different spheres.
Yeah. So in Calybre, our tagline is actually, it's all about people. So although we're a data company, and possibly confusingly, we said it's not all about data, although what we do is all about data. The main thing is the people. And I think that is also one of the things that spoke to us a lot. And in looking at recruitment cycles, when you test somebody, that can be, in the past, is seen as quite a negative experience, right? We've had such great feedback from candidates because firstly, they get a report. So it's not like they're investing, and it's only 45 minutes of their time. So they're investing that 45 minutes. They also then get a report that they can use. Even if we don't hire them, they still have access to that. And we've asked people, how did you feel about that? And they're like, this is awesome. I really recognize myself. So that's the first step that I think was really important. Then when we onboard people, we have our people manager, who is also then obviously trained in psychometry. They are able then to go and discuss that report with that person and use that as a base for them to actually grow. So there's a whole lot of information that is pertinent to that person and how they're going to land in that business. Nobody's going to be perfect. They're going to have points that they want to develop and grow. And I think it gives such a solid base for them to start that personal growth journey.
Definitely. And it assists. I mean, it's just easy. It's easy from a company user experience, but also the user doing it. That's what you were just saying and referring to in terms of getting the candidate report. So once a candidate's completed, they actually get a summarized version of their results. And I think that I've had a lot of feedback on that as well from candidates just saying thank you, because a lot of the times you do assessments, you go through a recruitment process and you don't know, well, first of all, what the assessments are being used for, never mind what they're saying. So
Absolutely.
I just think that gives them that sense of calm to say, well, I'm in good hands. I actually agree with the results. So I'm happy for that to go to Calybre or to the client then.
Yeah, that definitely opens the door in those conversations as well. And we use it, so we, in terms of our process, when we interview a person, we've also got those reports that are available to us to actually initiate some questions. And the person knows, I've done these tests, and they've also hopefully read their report. And it gives context for the discussion that you're having.
The same lingo in the whole company, right? So that really just helps with that again. So no one, as soon as they onboard it, I assume they also feel already they are part of the process. They've gone through this, understand where you're coming from. Let's work together on the development areas that was highlighted during the recruitment process.
Yeah, I think it's then they expect it by the time they join us. So it's not just going to be, okay, so I've got this job. It's more than that. When we talk to people, we're saying we do intend to develop with you not only your technical skills but also what we call power skills. So and those are highlighted in the psychometric report.
Yeah, lovely. And again, it just speaks to that candidate experience, right? It also stirred something now in me to think of the fifth industrial revolution. So the fourth industrial revolution, you would know, was very technology focused, but the fifth IR is focused on people again, right? So employees are asking what's in it for me. And I think if we can assist with a lovely recruitment process, never mind an assessment battery such as AssessFirst, to assist the candidate with that, they've already got what's in it for me and they feel that there is something in it for me.
Yeah, I think they definitely connect to it. And again, we've already had that feedback on the recruitment process that people are really positive. So they join us being positive.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. So Alexa, in terms of onboarding the AssessFirst assessments, how long did that take?
Nadine, I think it took us a couple of days, but I think we could have done it in hours.
Literally.
That's the honest truth. So, I mean, the only reason it took us days was because we chose for it to run over a couple of days. It was, to use a yellow seed word, super easy. Once we'd chosen the platform, and we decided we'd do a couple of test cases. And at that time, actually, our process was different. So we were interviewing first and then testing after we'd interviewed. So we had a number of people who'd been through the first and some of them the second interview, and we were testing at that point. So we decided we'd run then the psychometric testing, and then we would validate our outcome of our interviewing. And so that process, from the point that we decided, and I can remember being in those conversations with Yellow Seed and saying, I'm already in the interview process, I need psychometrics. And it was literally, as soon as we decided, we were up and running, we ran those first tests and we were like, yep, that's doing everything that we needed to do. And then we continued. So we then actually found, which was really interesting, that we had, over the December period, we had a huge number of applicants to our internship program, so well over 1,000 applicants. And we couldn't then invest the time in interviewing first to be fair on those candidates. So we had a couple of options. We said, I know that one of the options was we could test everybody. We chose not to do that at that point. We said we'll do an initial screening. So we actually do some screening up front to filter down and get a smaller number of applicants. And then we're testing. So we've actually brought the testing forward, and then we interview afterwards. And I think that decision came because we had the confidence in the tool.
Definitely, and I think that assisted with it as well. So Alexa, you also then said you obviously refining your process, seeing what works for Calybre, what doesn't. But you also mentioned in one of our sessions that you are looking at using an ATS system. So maybe to our listeners, what is an ATS system?
So that's our applicant tracking system. And again, what we found, so we had so many applicants and we needed to streamline the process of understanding when somebody has applied to us and making sure that we handle each applicant and we know where they are in the process. And also, if you've got more people who are looking at those candidates, it became impossible to use Excel and email. It's just too messy. So we needed a format that we could bring everything into one platform, and that's the applicant tracking system, ATS.
And let me ask you how you felt when you had to ask the question, can AssessFirst actually be integrated into the ATS system?
Yeah, so obviously, ideally we want everything on a single platform. I mean, that is it, ultimately streamlining the work that we do and giving us that speed and agility in what we do. And so we did look at that. Can we integrate AssessFirst? They were so open. They were really engaging in that discussion. We haven't actually integrated yet. That's the intention in the next month or so. Look, I mean, as I said, we're 6 months old, so we've already come this far. And so we actually started with our ATS in December. It feels like ages ago. And I hope that probably by May, we will start the integration process.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
We are also actually looking at an ATS system for Yellow Seed, and what's lovely is the fact that it's so easy to integrate AssessFirst. That's not even a question on our minds. We know it's going to be able to. So I think in terms of that and value add again, it just makes it so much easier to incorporate those assessments.
Yeah.
Alexa, in terms of the assessments and the service that you received from Yellow Seed, maybe just your experience there and how it's been up until this point, the long 6 months you have been in business.
Yeah, I think we're entirely grateful that we actually stumbled across Yellow Seed, and we are true partners, I think, in our businesses. And certainly from Calybre's perspective, we couldn't have got to where we got to so quickly without having a partner like Yellow Seed. So I think the day that we met, which was at LeaderX, was definitely a meant to be day from our perspective. And really, having that support and knowing that you've got a partner behind you who takes the time to understand your business, and no ask is too big or small, actually, which has been incredible. We just feel absolutely supported in the people management space.
That's lovely to hear. We also feel like that in terms of partnership, so that's lovely. It's both ways. And then I know we obviously always refer to the positive, but maybe, Alexa, a few lessons learned, if any, in terms of the assessments that you onboarded onto Calybre?
Yeah, so I think I'm glad that we approached it the way we did. We kind of, we have changed the process a couple of times. We didn't jump right in from the beginning. I still think that was the best way to approach it, because I think that it gave us the time, given that we were changing so quickly, it did give us the time to understand what it was that we were doing and what we wanted to achieve by it. I would say, my advice to anyone wanting to use the platform is not to take it lightly. I think even in we actually had the recent training session where we went into a lot more depth in terms of how to interpret the different reports that we get. And I took so much out of that, even though we've been using it now for 4 months. There was still so much more to learn. And I think that is really where I still see so much more development for us as a business, is that you can get to the point where you properly understand what it is that you're reading, that you don't disregard candidates too quickly. So when we started, we focused really strongly on the aptitude. And in our business, I still believe we do need that, but we shouldn't disregard shape and motivation. And I think that was one of the learnings that we had, was that by actually reading what the report says, so it'll say to you, this is a strong candidate, but we were then looking at some candidates who have very high aptitude, to really appreciate that somebody can still be a strong candidate where maybe the aptitude wasn't quite as high as some of the other candidates we had, but they were really strong in shape and motivation. So that's been one of the biggest learnings that we've had so far.
And such an important one, right? I've got a saying that I say to clients, I say, you are your best own resource. And you've got the tools, how do you use it? That's the question we all ask, right? So it's lovely to hear that you are using it and still wanting to learn. Very positive in terms of that. In terms of AssessFirst and Yellow Seeds as a assessment provider, would you recommend us to other companies?
Absolutely. And we could not have asked for a better partner. I think the personal service that we get, the relationships that we've built, and the way we can look forward together, that's more than we would have got anywhere else.
That's lovely to hear. So, Alexa, last question from my side. Where next for Calybre? What does the future hold?
The future looks huge for us. So we're super excited. You see, I'm completely yellow seeded, so super being the operative word. We are looking at expanding globally, so we will have that. Well, that's on the cards for the next 6 months. We are growing our team in South Africa, and we already have 30 odd people who have joined us, and we're growing month on month. So it really is about extending now beyond just bringing people on board. We're now working with more customers, putting our services out into the world. And it's just a really exciting space to be in. We're grateful to be in a situation where we can give back. There's so much unemployment in South Africa. And I think operating in a space where you do get to give people a chance is incredibly uplifting. On a day-to-day basis, working with a lot of the younger people in our country is really meaningful for us. And then at the same time bringing the years of experience that we have and putting that all together into this wonderful mix, I think is really a great place to be. So we're looking to go global and
That's amazing. I can see the excitement in your face, and we are looking forward to partnering and still continuing our partnership with you.
Thanks,
and just
Nikki.
to see what the future holds. So thank you so much, Alexa, and we look forward to what's coming next.
Thanks so much.